Hey, I'm Lil and welcome to Bullet Journal Basics. Over this week I have 7 videos covering what I believe to be the most important aspects of bullet journaling and starting a journal and starting this journey. I've been journaling for 4 years now, and over the past year I've built an entire business around it. I am obsessed with the bullet journal. The Bujo is life, blessed be the Bujo. So I really hope you get something from the course this week. If you've not already, you can join the Facebook group called the Bujo Cult on Facebook. It's a Facebook group. It'll be linked below, or you can find me on Instagram at Bujo Cult. And Etsy. I have an Etsy shop. Keep forgetting to say. I declare I am rubbish at intros, so let us do the thing now. So the first video was going like little mini deep dive, a scuba dive into the bullet journaling system. Last video was goal setting and planning and achieving goals. This video I would like to talk about bullet journaling for mental health. So this is obviously a bit of a sensitive topic, and although I'm not going to go into any stressful or potentially triggering details, I would like to give a quick mild trigger warning before we go on. I will be talking about mental health, depression, anxiety, medication journey, and bipolar disorder. So I struggled with depression throughout my teenage years, very badly. I use laughter as a coping mechanism. I had a lot of counselling and I got some CBT therapy just before I was pregnant with my eldest, and it really helped for a while. I think I thought it would just dissipate as I got older, but if anything it got worse. Then after my second was born, I began to realise that my moods had started to take this pattern. I'd feel amazing sometimes, incredibly creative. I would stay up all night making things, planning things, and yay. And I would spend all of my money on stuff that was gonna like totally change my life. Like this keyboard. This is the keyboard. If I buy this keyboard, it's gonna totally change my life. I'm gonna be the sort of person that has this keyboard, and I want to be that person, and if I have this keyboard it will make me that person who has this keyboard into the cart. 2 seconds later, these shoes, these are the ones. If I have these shoes, rinse and repeat. And then a few days later, I would be uncontrollably crying in my bed and have no money, and these shoes hurt my feet. I'd also have really uncontrollable, really quite extreme panic attacks. So a little while after I'd started noticing this pattern, I decided to start tracking my moods. I think I'd seen a Pinterest image of somebody's like year in pixels bullet journal thing, and I was like, that sounds like a good idea. I think a really large part of me thought or hoped that I was making it all up, and that I would go and see somebody and they would be like, yeah, you a dramatic bitch. Don't worry about it. But after the first month or 2 of mood tracking, I realised that that was a pattern. I wasn't imagining the pattern, I wasn't blowing out of proportion the pattern. There was a pattern of going up and then down, and then up, and then down. I was already on the waiting list for therapy, but I went back to my GP and I said, hi, that waiting list, great, but is there any way I can talk specifically to somebody who deals with mood disorders? And can I also get something for these panic attacks? Thanks very much. Diazepam. Fucking lifesaver. So when I finally managed to speak to the specialist, and I'd given him like the rundown of like, this is what's going on for me, he was like, right, well, we're gonna have to start getting you to keep a mood diary. And I was like, oh fucking yeah, bitch. We literally managed to cut out about 6 months of diagnosis time because I already had about 6 months worth of mood journals. He was also able, because he's a specialist, he was also able to take one look at them and be like, cool, this isn't type 1 bipolar, this isn't type 2 bipolar, this is cyclothymia, a form of bipolar disorder. I spend 2 days in a hypomanic state, or sometimes 3, but never 4 or more, and then I'll spend 2 days in a highly depressive state, never more than 4 as well. So for me, they were feeling like, you know, these huge amounts of time, but in reality it was only 2 days, 2 days, 2 days, 2 days, with maybe 1 or 2 days of normality in between. And it was fucking exhausting. I was prescribed lamotrigine for it, and literally my life was saved. Shit, does this mean the bullet journaling saved my life? No. Did it? No.
No. Well...
Maybe that's why I'm so obsessive about it. So bullet journaling helps you see and track patterns. Patterns in your behavior, in your responses, in your triggers, your mood, your symptoms. A bullet journal will not fix your mental health problems. Oh my god, I wish they would. But you can use them as a tool to better understand them and equip yourself against them. I had thought about doing this video as like a 5 different spreads you can use to help track your mental health, but it felt really kind of slightly icky and like weirdly disingenuous because it's something so unique for every single person, and I don't want to be like, here's how it can work, here's how it can fix, and all of this kind of stuff, because that's not how it works. But here are some vague ideas 5 vague ideas of things you might want to try if you're having issues with your mental health. So mood tracking is obviously a good one. It means that you can see at a glance if you're having like any really long states of depression or something like that. You might want to color code it so that there's a color code for anxiety, a color code for depression or something. But sometimes it's a little bit muddier and more complicated than that. Because I knew that I was having these patterns, I did a 1 to 10 scale, and like 1 to 31 or whatever the days were at the bottom. If it was like 0 to 4, I can't maths properly. If it was like 0 to 3, it was like, you know, depression territory. If I hit 0, I needed to call somebody. If I hit 0, this was danger territory. And then like what 4 to 7 or something was like life's ups and downs. Do you know what I mean? Like 4 to 6. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, sometimes you have good days, sometimes you have bad days, but you're not like depressed and you're not hypo. It's just eh. So then 7 to 10 would be verging into hypomania. 7, 8, 9 were like hypomania. If I hit 10, again, that is when I would have to be calling somebody, because that is when there's a danger of it being mania and developing into type 1 or something like that. It also meant I could see how many days these things were lasting for. There is the potential for cyclothymia to develop into type 2 bipolar disorder and to develop into type 1 bipolar disorder, depending on a whole bunch of stuff. So it's something I like to monitor and keep an eye on just in case. And I can call somebody as soon as I need them. Batman signals go up. You know what I mean. Self-care lists. They're always good. And I thoroughly recommend both types of the self-care lists. The self-care lists of like musicals and Lush bath bombs and cups of tea on the terrace. I don't have a terrace, but if I had one, I'd have tea on it. And the other self-care stuff like showering, putting the dishwasher on, making the phone call you don't want to make, the less Instagrammable self-care. I'd also highly recommend, if you know that you suffer from any mental health issues, to create an emergency list somewhere in every single one of your journals. When your brain is in a state of emergency, it does not function properly, and you want to give it the best chance possible to get the help that it needs as soon as it needs it. So this could be a list of friends that you know you need to phone in an emergency, or who have been prepped for emergency calls, or helplines, doctors, maybe a list of instructions you need to do, or something like that. Anything that you feel you will need in an emergency when your brain is not thinking at capacity, pop it on the list. And that way it's there. It's better to have it there and not need it than it not be there when you need it the most. Do you know what I mean? Symptom trackers, just like mood trackers. You might want to also track things like your caffeine intake, and does that have an effect on your anxiety or anything like that. you'll know for yourself what's important. I am overwhelmed so easily and I fall into panic responses so quickly, and I've used bullet journaling as a way to kind of lighten that mental load for myself. It keeps my brain a little bit clearer, and it also helps me to kind of work through those moments of panic. I have pages in my journal where it's just scribbles and just this day has gone to, and you know, little drawings of little horrified faces or sad pandas or something like that, just because I needed to get it out of me in that moment. And it's helped me get my diagnosis. It's one of the reasons I am so passionate about Bujo Cult and creating this community. It's why I started the brand in the first place, is I just wanted to give a little bit of that relief to other people. I'm getting upset. I didn't think I'd get upset in this video. I'll sing to myself and make it better. I call my bullet journal my second brain because it really, really is. I unload so much into it to free that space up in my actual brain, just to let my brain breathe and let me just be and enjoy the moment a little bit more, instead of constantly stressing about what I need to do next, when I need to be doing it, how do I go about doing it. Get it out your head, get it in your bullet journal. You can allot a time and place to stress about it. You don't need to stress about it every single moment, every single day. I know that's a lot easier to say than to do, but this is one of the tools that I've used to help me do less of that. And if you are having problems with your mental health, I am going to leave a list of resources below that hopefully can point you in the right direction. Talk to people, talk to your doctor, talk to your psychiatrist, talk to your GP, talk to your friends, just talk about it. Don't live in silence, and please reach out to get help if you need it. Okay, yay! This one was a bit weird to film, but it's done. I don't know, I feel like it's a thin line to kind of walk down of, you know, bullet journal, fix your depression, and helping to provide like a tool that you can use however you see fit in the way that works for you. I'm rambling now because I'm uncomfortable. I really hope this video has been helpful. I'll probably share some resources in the group as well. You can find the group in the link below. The group is The Bujo Cult on Facebook, and you can find me on Instagram at Bujo Cult. And subscribe to the YouTube. And we have established that I am bad at outros, so I'm just gonna go now. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. It's been wonderful. Thank you for having me. Bye. Bye.